Hey, I'm gonna be going over kind of like how to buy a keyboard. It's probably the question I get the most on YouTube, especially on my other channel. I teach these songs, and people ask, "Hey, I want to play the piano. I don't know what kind of piano to buy." So, let me address that. So, basically, let's start from the lowest dollar amount of pianos. You can buy keyboards for under $100, and what really separates the first level of keyboards is like this one. If I press really hard, it's gonna sound loud. If I press really low, it's gonna sound low. Um, that is decently important. Let me take that function off. So now I took that function off. Now it doesn't matter if I press really soft, it's gonna sound loud, or about medium level. Or if I press really loud and I try to want something super loud, same volume. Doesn't matter. So like when I'm playing, all right. So let's put that function on now. Now it's gonna sound loud if I press loud. So that's kind of the first thing that separates keyboards, where this one has the touch sensitivity. So usually running around $150 is the price point, it seems like, where that becomes a function that's available. Then after that, really the thing that next separates how expensive the keyboard is how many keys it has. Like this one has 88 keys, right? It's like a full-size piano. For me, that's important because really I'm not using those super high pitch ones a bunch, but I do use the low ones a lot. I really like the I really like banging on some of those really low notes. I use those quite a bit. So for me, that's super important to be able to get the full size keyboard, full size piano because of the really low notes. Um, the really high notes I could do without, but that's just the way it is. Uh, what else? Oh, and another thing that's super important that I try to tell people about is the sustain pedal. Okay, so really most keyboards in even five or well sometimes around like $500 or $600 they come standard with these, but usually even the $150 ones they won't come with a sustain pedal a lot of times, but you can buy one. And what this does, uh, if I press a note uh, and I'm holding this down, it just keeps on going versus it's just stopping. And I use a sustain pedal pretty much for the music that I do. I start out my students just pressing down the sustain pedal pretty much the entire time, just because I like the sound of it better. And then eventually, as students get better, just to kind of like I teach them when to kind of like take off and press back down again. Cool. So I'll give a quick demonstration of that. So here's me playing with no sustain pedal. Now with the sustain pedal. Gives just kind of like a nice sound to it. I use it just constantly. Sustain pedal. Good. Last thing, couple things to cover. Uh, hammer weighted keys versus not weighted keys. That's kind of the next price level kind of thing. Uh, this was about a $500 $1 keyboard. It doesn't have weighted keys. So what that means is they the keys don't necessarily feel like a regular piano's. They're easier to press down versus weighted keys. They feel like they're a little bit harder to press down. The kind of nice thing about that is sometimes I'll just barely brush up against a note and it presses down and it sounds out when I don't want it to. The weighted keys just gives you more of a feel like a piano, which I personally like. I do like that. I wish I had that on mine. Mine doesn't have that. Um, as far as brands go, really, I don't think it matters all that much. This is a Yamaha. I think Casio makes pretty good products. I like Yamaha's products. Um, yeah. Then as far as sounds go, they kind of make them in two different varieties. Where this one has like 500 sounds, bunch of sounds that I'd never even use, like applause or fireworks or stuff like that. But then there's a lot of kind of like good, uh, kind of synth sounds and stuff that you hear in kind of like modern pop songs and modern like rap songs, stuff like that. They have some sounds on there that I like. Versus some keyboards make it where there's only a piano sound, which I like to at least have strings and uh, some sounds like that, or orchestra stuff. Um, then also some keyboards would have like 10 sounds or so. Which if you're not big on changing sounds and you just really want a piano sound, that's totally fine. A couple of other things is then they make keyboards that are like $3,000 and 4,000. They're super expensive. What I in my, just my general messing around with those really expensive ones, which I've played them at guitar stores and piano stores and stuff like that, is they're kind of confusing. I kind of mess around with them for a while, and next thing you know, there's kind of like all this music is playing, and it's kind of like, how do I just get to a piano sound, or how can I change up a couple things? And there's so many different things. It looks like, man, I'd have to really study a bunch to do that. And another thing with those really expensive ones, I find they try to almost make it like it's a studio. Your piano is a recording studio. Well, really, I like to have my recording studio be a recording studio and not my piano be like everything. It just kind of ends up being kind of confusing. Two, when I really how I play this live these days, um, or play kind of any keyboard live, I don't even use the sounds in the keyboard. What I do is I hook it up through a MIDI output, and it goes in through my computer, and then I have computer software. I use the software Reason. I really love the piano sounds out of there, and then this doesn't generate any sound at all. All it does is it just kind of like acts as a trigger. So when I press down the trigger, it goes in through my computer, and then the computer through the Reason program generates the sound, and then it goes out through the whole system. So this doesn't affect how the sound is, anything like that. Just when when I play stuff, it is generated in through the computer, and those sounds I really love. They're super nice, good sounding stuff that you really hear in recordings all the time. Versus, probably those like super expensive $3,000 keyboards. Those kind of have that level of sound, but two, it's just kind of like they end up getting a little bit outdated. I think the sounds do, and I know they're trying to work on, hey, we can incorporate new sounds and stuff like that. But just for me in general, to get like the coolest, best sounds, usually I work through computer systems. And then two, when I'm just kind of like messing around at home and working on stuff, I still want pretty good sound. Um, and then like a $500 or $600 piano keyboard kind of thing has pretty good sound. So anyway, that's a couple thoughts. Let's see. Oh, last thing. Uh, just as far as to kind of save you a little bit of money, maybe. If you go to a place like Guitar Center or like one of those big music stores, a lot of people don't know this. You can ask people if they'll give you a better price than what's on there. They have good prices already. They really do. But especially like Guitar Center or Sam Ash, almost every time that I go and buy something big, a big guitar, something kind of expensive, I'll ask them and say, hey, I see the price is this. Can I get it for $100 less? Can I get it for $200 less? And sometimes they say no, and sometimes they say yes, and sometimes they meet me in the middle. Um, I've also done that with like online musician's friend. When you're typing in on a computer, you can't really ask a computer for a better price. But when I called into their helpline and said, "Hey, I saw this, and are you running any specials coming anytime soon?" Or uh, they've been able to help me out as well. Talk to managers and just kind of go, "Well, hey, we can give it to you uh, for a special price here. We'll add this coupon here for 15% off or something like that." So just a thought. I've never tried that at Best Buy or anything. Actually, I bought this from Best Buy. It was an open box special, but from Guitar Center, Sam Ash, and from some of the online retailers, I almost always ask if I can get some money off, and really, I've been able to get some great deals on stuff like that. So, just some ideas on buying a piano and what kind of piano to get. So, hope it kind of helped. All right, thanks. See ya.